What up, guys? Jeff from Connecticut Transparency here. Just want to check in. Sorry, I'm doing it laying down. Uh, my legs have been hurting a little bit. I got varicose vein problems, but anyway, let's talk about the change of venues for both Fahey and Sean Paul. All right, as somebody that's lived in Windham County pretty much my whole life, with the exception of I lived in Norwich for a few years. Most of my whole life has been in Windham. I said in a video a long time ago, my background. Yes, I had some troubles when I was younger, like 18, 19 years old. All of my cases that I've had one case that's been out of town. I got caught in Hartford driving without my license, and I ended up going to New Britain court for that. But that's the only time that I've ever not go to Danielson court. Okay, Danielson court is known as the hanging court. Okay, and that's straight from lawyers that I've known, that I've talked to. Um, they've been in the news, not recently, probably I think it was last year, a couple of years ago, where clerk signed off on a attorney speeding ticket, and she had no right to, but I don't believe she's there anymore. But they've been in the news. There was a case 25 years ago. The guy already did his 20 years. There was a murder or a shooting, I should say, which turned into a murder homicide in Plainfield, which is part of Windham Judicial. The prosecutor, Vincent Dooley, was talking and dating a juror in that case. So Danielson's he got misconductorial behavior or whatever. Sorry, I don't articulate my words as good as some people. I do have a traumatic brain injury, so it's sometimes I struggle to find words that I want, the right words. And but let's talk about their transfers up to Danielson. All right. As somebody who's experienced it, as somebody that's watching two of my best friends dealing with Danielson Court right now, one of them being TCS. Danny's been going on one case for like 2 years, because they just won't drop a probable cause for him screaming. The officer doesn't know what he was screaming, but this has been going on for 2 years. I think he got a decent judge. This is what I was going to talk about too. The judges at Danielson Court. You have Ernie Green, who used to have he used to be a public defender there. Now he is now a judge. He's fair. I mean, there's also another judge there named Shea. If I would want anybody as a judge, it would be Shea. Danny's been working with Shea or whatever. He's actually looking at Connecticut case laws and Supreme Court case laws. He's going the extra mile. I think he feels something's off in Constitution State's case, and he wants to make sure he makes the right choice and right. But enough about Danny. He talks about it all the time in his videos. But so I think unfortunately it's not going to be a good change of venue for Sean, because they don't drop anything. He's going to end up having to go to trial. They don't drop nothing. I mean, unless you got like 8 charges, they might drop 3 of them and get you on 5 charges. They don't play around up there. Fahey, it's a back to blue courthouse. uh, heavily, heavily. For the most part, like I said, Shay is a reasonable judge who will actually look at case laws in Connecticut. Um, so that might work out a little bit. The charges maybe get up on fahey. Maybe. I doubt it. I'm not uh, prosecutor, or I don't know what goes through their freaking minds. All I know is they sentenced me to like 8 years total. Some of the stuff, yeah, I'll take responsibility. Some of it, I think they just took advantage of me because back then I was just a drug addict and alcoholic. I didn't really have a lot of help from anybody because I chose to put alcohol and drugs over everything. But as I've been following, along a couple of my friends' cases, like going with them and stuff, one of them being Danny from TCS and the other one being from Paul at Paul Monocchio 1175. He was the one that was jumped on in New London. So his cases are totally different. So let's stick on the Sean and Fahey case. Courthouses have their favorite attorneys and whatever else. Sean goes in there with some. Danielson, like I said, it works a different way. He's better off going with, to be honest with you, is a criminal lawyer from this state that's dealt with Danielson courthouse before, Danielson prosecutors. He comes in there with a hot shot that doesn't know anybody in that court. I don't think that's going to work out for his best being or well-being or whatever. He's obviously in charge of that. I don't, will I go down there for his court case? There's a chance I might pop in. I do have a haircut that morning, which is only right down the road from the courthouse. Courthouse is probably 20 minutes from my house, 20, maybe 15, between 15 and 20. So I might go down there. I might go down there for Fahey's hearing too. He's probably just going to get a slap on the wrist. Like I said, Danielson courts are heavily back to blue. So he'll get the minimum, if not even dismissed. You'll probably get it dismissed the first time he goes in, which would be, I think, the 4th. 4th is a holiday, so I think it's actually, I'll have to check it out. I want to say somebody said the 3rd, but the 3rd is a Sunday. Somebody said September 9th, which also would fall on a Sunday. I'm sure Sean has it posted on his page when he's going to court. But I don't think this change of venue he's going to like. Like I said, as somebody that's that has dealt with the courts in Windham County for, I don't know. I mean, I haven't been arrested since 2009. But like I said, I do go to court with a couple of people that I mentioned and watch how their cases go, which leaves me sitting in the courtroom listening to other cases and stuff like that. So that's not a very good change of venue for Sean. Obviously for Fahey, is a former state cop. He has a couple things on his record from when he was in his 20s. He was dealing drugs down in New London. I really don't think they'll bring that up since it's so long ago, but and it didn't happen in Danielson court. So I don't think it's gonna work out with Sean, they don't drop charges in Danielson. They will fight you to the end. They don't care. So be prepared for a fight, Mr. Reyes. Unfortunately, I have my own opinions about that case. Not necessarily that case. What happened after that case. After we went to court and stuff, and I watched one of my best friends, if not my best friend, get jumped on by six marshals, twisting around like a Gumby doll. Thank God he didn't get more hurt than he did. So that's what I got on that. As far as going out and doing some activity or activism, it's going to be soon. I think I'm trying to hook up with Kurt Erickson down in Bridgeport. And there's also another guy out of Hartford, Johnny Cruz is his name. Try and branch out a little bit from Eastern Connecticut. Although Eastern Connecticut needs help. I'm actually... Probably tomorrow I gotta go over to Paul's and hopefully we can file. I have to file a complaint against the town of Canterbury. They're not. I asked them how much it was for the defense of Paul Monacchio's legal fees for them not wanting to give him what he's asking for, which are definitely public records. Salaries, that's all public records. Sorry, hate to tell you, you're gonna lose that one. You're gonna lose the one against me too. There's no attorney-client privilege when it comes to towns versus citizens and FOIA hearings. And from what I was told by a very good source that is on the town council, on one of the local governments, that insurance will not pick up a civil rights violation or FOIA. So that's coming out of some. That's coming out of some fund. Canterbury's a very small town. I think it's got about 5,500 people. I could be totally wrong. It could be 3,500. Somewhere I think it's 5,500. They even admitted they only get like 24 requests a year. Okay, so that's what, 2 a month? Not even. That's 1.5 a month, whatever, 2 a month. You should know the FOIA by now, Canterbury. When I win, and I will win, because all I'm asking for is how much it was costing the town for the defense of, his FOIA things. I got him, when I did it with Mansfield, I got the number back within 2 days. In 2 days, they complied, and so now I got to bring Canterbury to court, the FOIA court, which it is what it is. They don't like me. I don't like them. If you can't tell me how much it costs the taxpayers, because I live in this town and I pay taxes in this town, then there's issues. Or you'd say you can't give out somebody's salary, or it just shows, that if you're not willing to do that you're not willing to be transparent, and that's BS, straight BS. Usually on a Saturday I would be out helping my wife do our Saturday routine, but for some reason I just slept through everything and didn't get up until 11 o'clock. It is what it is. She's all right. She'll, So I just want to touch base with that. It's, if you're from Connecticut and you're around, say, from Hartford East, it's not that far from Hartford to Danielson. If you wanted to go and support, whether it be Sean from Long Island Audit or Paul Monacchio or Danny from TCS, you know, it would be great if we could get some more supporters out to either court or to our little protests or whatever we're doing. I don't even want to get into the whole Keith Much stuff. I'm blocked, so if any of my subscribers are still on his page, United FM on FM, United FM on Facebook, maybe just keep an eye on that for me to see if Connecticut Transparency or my real name pops up. Jeff Joyle. You guys are always welcome to friend me on Facebook too. I don't get paid for any of this. I really could care less. I'm not. That's not my plan. It's just that I want like-minded people, supporting us what we're doing out here. You guys keep us going. You guys with the messages and it definitely pushes me to get up in the morning and some weeks my body just doesn't allow me to get up and walk around and do I go fishing? Of course I go fishing. My life can't stop because I have all these injuries from a motorcycle accident. Obviously, I'm not going to do anything a doctor tells me I can't do. Funny as WFSB Channel 3, the news station was on, they did a story on how the state police FOIA, okay, their legal affairs are running 12 months to 16 months behind on your FOIA request. That is absolutely disgusting and intolerable. No way it should say 12 to 16 months to get a police record or whatever you need from state police. I'm waiting on the Pardons Commission, but I can't do anything with the Pardons Commission because it takes 12 to 16 months to get my Connecticut State Police arrest report. And then I can go in front of the court pardon if I have to. If I have to go, sorry about that. If I have to go in front of a judge or whatever, it is what it is. I have a lawyer for that anyway. But he even told me it's ridiculous. It's like 1 year to a year and a half. And WFSB just did it's interesting they did a story on them because usually, you know what, they're completely black to blue. Not black, jeez, this is what I mean. Back to blue. They don't try to put, they try not to put videos out there that makes the police look bad here in Connecticut and blah, blah, blah. They did that interview with me. They cut half of it out, whatever. I don't really care about being on the news anyway. Is it, I guess, better getting it out there, better footage, or maybe better for my channel. As you can see on my channel, we usually, hey, what are you doing? Sorry, yelling at my dog. What you doing, buddy? I've gotten a couple messages from people. I don't know if they're warnings or they're fucking threats. I don't really care at this point. I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm 53 years old dealing with high school bullshit. I'm not going to let somebody call me a terrorist for standing on my rights. Come on. I have a couple attorneys already aware of the whole situation. We're going to see if there's a pattern to this of Mr. Much So if you happen to follow United FM or even Will's Tale 2 out of New London and you see my name mentioned or there's a story or whatever, please reach out to me. You're more than welcome to reach out to the business page, which is Connecticut CT Transparency at gmail.com. I'll even put out my personal email, gjoyal, Joyal 71 at yahoo.com, and I'm going to give you my cell phone number, okay? 860-710-5085. Text me before you call me, though. Let me know you're calling or whatever, because I don't answer phone calls that I don't know. Your best bet to get a hold of me is through text. And it might take me even a couple hours to get back. Hopefully the trolls don't call. If they do, whatever, I just block their number. But if you see anything that has my name coming from United FM radio on a Facebook or Will's Tale 2 on Facebook, please let me know. Send the screenshot of it to me, whether through email, through text. I'm totally transparent. If you have a question for me, or you want to know if there's something I can do to help you if you're in Connecticut, most likely the answer will be yeah. If I can give suggestions, I'm not going to give legal advice. I can only speak from what I've gone through. Can I help you find lawyers for what you're going through? Of course I can. I have a firm that is on retainer or whatever that is like 30 or 40 attorneys and all different things, criminal including. Civil rights they're not that strong on. I wouldn't suggest them for civil rights. But there is a couple other lawyers that I know out there that will fight for you. Having a problem finding civil rights attorneys. Somebody put somebody's name in my ear out of Hartford. I'm going to give him a call tomorrow and talk to him, or at least set up a consultation to go in and talk to him. You can call me whatever you want to call me, just don't call me a terrorist. Because there is terrorists right now living in this country, and, when I'm out there fighting for somebody else's rights, or my rights, or our rights, it's really our rights, I don't expect to get criticized. I mean, I can get criticized or whatever, you don't like a sign I'm holding, whatever, but don't frickin' call me a terrorist. Because I'm doing what I'm doing is I'm following the laws of the Constitution. If you don't like people out peacefully protesting, holding signs, if something's wrong, whatever, I don't know. Go get help, I guess. I mean, if you want to let the cops run all over you, feel free. Let them run a train on you if that's how much you like them that much. I get it. They're human beings. They make mistakes. The difference is, when I make a mistake, I pay for it one way or another, okay? Whether it's through the courts, if I make a mistake, with my wife, we all know there's, repercussions for everything. But when I'm standing on a public property and I'm protesting with signs, that is not being terroristic at all. That's standing on your rights. If you don't know how to stand on your rights, give me a call. Let's see what you don't know. What I can help you with law. I have a lot of free time on my hands. It's when I do, I look into laws. I make sure that, towns are following FOIA laws, which is a law. FOIA is a law. That seems to be the biggest problem. And then you got dirty cops. I'm not saying they're all dirty, but, you got cops that will watch their partners violate people's rights. This phone is... I'm sorry, guys. I gotta get up and try and walk around a little bit. But so, as speaking from, as far as fahey and Sean, fahey's getting the better of the deal on the, I'm not saying, Sean's gonna have a lawsuit and all that stuff. He's already got a couple against him. What's a third? So, hopefully it's federal, and I can, hope that Sean wins. I don't know what he's gonna, excuse the sunlight. I'm going outside for a minute. Smoke. I don't smoke inside the house. As you can see, I'm out. Got around a little bit. Here's my view. It's absolutely gorgeous. I try to get up early and do sunrises. But, so as far as that goes, I think, unfortunately, I think, Sean, you might have a hard time, buddy, in Danielson. I'm hoping you don't. But I'm watching what's going on in Danielson, and they ain't dropping shit. So, it's better than my ugly ass face. But yeah, you got a beautiful. I got a beautiful view. Hopefully within the next year we'll be building our house right in the lot next door. We own 8 acres over there, so it's going to be sitting higher up than this house too. So the view will be even better. Zoning regulations. We have to have a 1,000-foot driveway. We have to have a bridge. We have to have a pole underneath because of the wetlands, and we have to have a pull-off spot. And these zoning regulations were done a while back, so we have to have it resurveyed anyway. We did have it surveyed, I don't know, probably about 10 years, maybe even a little bit more than that, 15 years ago. Because I believe my wife and her ex did the survey and brought it to planning and zoning and all this stuff. So I'll have a GC for that. I'm not going to have to deal with that. But it's probably going to be a couple $100,000 worth of site work, and then what we want to build is just a one level living. Getting too old to be going up and down stairs. We will have a playroom downstairs, fully furnished basement and all that stuff, but that's down the road. Right now I'm just focusing on my FOIA request complaint. Gonna hit the courthouses, I believe September 11th and 12th. Paul has court, so I'll be there with him for that. I don't know, I gotta find out Danny's. They transferred that, not transferred it, they continued it for like 6 weeks, so the judge could go over the whole interfering statute. Now, I'm having a hard time is, Connecticut statute is different from the state Supreme statute. So, Supreme Court has ruled that it's fighting words and threatening words or whatever, and Connecticut just says it hinders. So, the cop couldn't even, when he was on the stand, he couldn't even dictate to what PCS was saying or what the lady was saying, because he was arguing with the lady that was having a problem or whatever. So you don't even know what he was yelling, but you just happened to stop whatever you were doing to watch him 60 or 100 feet away. That's the problem that, and at least Danielson, like I said, I hope Sean gets Judge Shea, because he actually will go into the Supreme Court and pull up case law and everything else. So, but that's it. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Get up to the Woodstock Fair if you can. Go to, Butts roast beef was right there right before. I would get out and enjoy it. I'm missing today, just because I'm not feeling that well. Like I said, I slept until 11. I don't usually sleep until 11, that's for sure. You guys know that. I'm usually up by 5 a.m. and out on a fishing spot by 6. But today I wanted to sleep in, and I didn't want to sleep in until 11, but it happens. So, yep, this is the view on a main road here in Canterbury on 169. But that's all I got. I'm gonna try and get out this week and maybe do some cop watching up in Willimantic, or doing some cop watching in Norwich, or like I said, I might try and reach out to Kurt Erickson. I have him on Facebook now. He does a lot of work down in Bridgeport and East End, or he does a lot of work in Bridgeport in general. There's another guy, Johnny Cruz, out of Hartford, that I want to try and hook up with, and do some cop watching. I don't want to get involved in all the administrative stuff. But that's what I got going on right now. I got to file that complaint, and I'm going to have FOIA case hearings, but that doesn't mean I can't still go out and run the scanner up in Willimantic or Norwich and see what's going on. So let me see if I can get out and do that this week. I still have unfinished business with Willimantic and Norwich that I have to take care of at some point. So until then, we'll see you on the next one.